Dr. Christopher Barger. Welcome to Holding Space. I am going to be discussing something that actually came up in a supervision with one of my supervisees. We talk about topics that are of interest to us and that we try to find new ways of working with people. And I'm going to return to some of my roots in terms of what we've started out with these broadcasts. And if you want to subscribe to the channel and go back and look at some of the earlier broadcasts, they're a little less polished because I think I'm, getting more used to this. But if you want to take a look at something that is trauma related, which is what I do a lot of, I work with people with trauma. I don't give people a lot of traumas. I wanted to be clear about that. Look at the idea of trauma. This woman was saying to me, so I'm working with a lot of adults who are in their later years and they're 70, 80 years old. What benefit is it to work with past traumas? Is it as beneficial as it is to work with a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old or even a 15-year-old? And my answer to her is that it absolutely is worthwhile doing. And the emphasis on it has to become slightly different. You're not dealing with just the trauma itself or an initial trauma, because trauma becomes a lifestyle. Trauma becomes something that informs a lot of different things in your life. So if something happens early on that shapes your opinion of yourself, it's going to shape your opinions of who you are, what you're capable of. It's going to change relationships. It's going to change job choices. It's going to change so many things in your life, because who you are and what you think you're capable of is something that's malleable and changeable. But if it's something that gets guided by a different principle, it's almost like getting a computer virus. It goes in and corrupts all your files. The trauma becomes a thing in and of itself that changes a lot of your life. And yeah, if you go back and if you resolve the original trauma, or if you get some perspective on it, if you can change it, the rest of your life can be different. However many years you have left, it can be different. And you can change from this point onward. Do you have to go back and undo all that? Well, you can't, because we don't have a working time machine. Wish we did. There's so many things that, I think most of us would want to go back and change. But would that change the people that we are now? There's a lot of philosophy about that also. If I changed these things, these bad things that happened to me, I wouldn't be the person that I am now. And yeah, we learn a lot from the things that we survive. But those trauma-informed things, those things that are shaped by early losses, bad events, things that you have survived, we look at things like everything from people who live in war-torn Middle Eastern countries and people who have survived horrible ordeals, people who have survived sexual abuse. And it changes things about what you do going forward. So it's not just one thing that happens to you. It's one thing that happens to you that affects your life and affects the way you see people, the way you see relationships, the way you see jobs, the way you see potentialities. What am I capable of? Am I capable of anything because I really think of myself as worthless? Sometimes those early traumas, and when I do EMDR, one of the things that we look at is what's the self-referential thought that you have about yourself in this situation. And usually it has to be something kind of like a negative cognition, like I'm worthless, or I'm helpless, or I'm unable to achieve something here. I'm unable to resolve this. Nobody's going to love me. I'm a zero. I've heard all kinds of things that people will form about themselves as a result of something that happened outside of themselves. And it is the stuff inside yourself that makes a big difference. It is the stuff that happens inside yourself that keeps you stuck in a pattern. If you want to look at it as the path of your life gets diverted, the stream gets dammed over on one side, so the path gets diverted. You might be a very different person because of something that happened in the past that you have not changed. And even if you go back and you look at that thing that happened in the past, and if you're able to change it, the change that you see about that thing changes the perception that you have of yourself and what you're capable of. Yes, I mean, if we can catch it early on, and if there's something that happened to you 6 months ago, it hasn't had a whole lot of time to alter your life. It probably has altered it in some aspects, but think about something that has happened to you when you're very young and you wind up living with it and living with the things that you believe about yourself as a result of that. That changes who you are. We want to give you a new perspective. We want to give you the idea that this virus inside yourself can be eradicated. The opinion that you have of yourself can change. And sometimes we have to tear down those old structures. You don't want to change everything about you, but you do want to change how you see yourself, how you see your capabilities, how you see the world. And that is the purpose of going. And even in your later years, it is never too late. Let me say this again. It is never too late to change how you see yourself and what you're capable of. Your whole life can begin again. Your whole life can be changed and altered by letting go of something from the past and seeing the effect that it's had on you. Again, this is the purpose of therapy. This is the purpose of being able to work with trauma. This is the purpose of EMDR. This can become your purpose. Just a brief message today, but if you like these messages, please hit like, subscribe. You can look back on some of our previous thoughts about things. And also, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them. Our email is below, and we will be able to answer your questions. I cannot do therapy over the internet. I can, however, give you some basic feedback on the things that you ask me and direct you to seek help if needed. It's fine. And please feel free to say anything or ask anything. I'm Dr. Christopher Barker. I'm holding space for you. Thank you for holding space for me, and I will see you soon.